All right. Guys, I am very, very sorry. I am late. I'm extremely late. So my apologies. I am over over 53% sure that instead of being late for unnecessary reasons, I was late for something legitimate. So I apologize in advance. I'm going to double check here. I am really late, so this is not a good thing. All right, I'm checking here. I am good to go on Facebook, and I believe I am good on YouTube. I'm going to check this out real quick. All right. Okay, I'm good to go. All right, listen, I am really, really sorry. I am very, very late today. So man, all right, so I'm very late. Um okay, so here's the deal. Just announcements. I am going to have a video. Ideally, I'm going to have a video come out. I'm going to have a video come out. All right, sorry about that. Sorry about that. I'm back now. Okay, announcements. I will have a video come out Thursday, maybe Saturday, with all my week one NFL bets and my yearly bets. Just to let you know, just in case I don't get the video out before Thursday Night Football, I'm not going to bet on Thursday Night Football. I'm also not putting any action down on Dallas or Tampa Bay. By the way, if you do have questions about certain action, you can always email me. The email will show up as a notification on my phone, so I will be ready to go. If you do have any questions, I wasn't able to put together a spreadsheet with all my picks that I'm going to make. I was going to share that with you today. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to give you kind of just a basic screenshot of or synopsis, basically not a screenshot. I'm just going to kind of explain the teams that I like and I am going to put action on. Unlike a lot of YouTube channels that just make baseless predictions but don't really back their predictions up with anything, I will back my picks up with hard-earned cash. I put my money where my mouth is, and look, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I post both my wins and my losses. So that's what I'm going to do. Again, I apologize because I do not have a I don't have a spreadsheet with all my picks available. I was really hoping to have something like that available. I wasn't able to put that together. However, I am going to have. I can kind of just go over some things with you real quick, and I'm going to make this short. Today's live stream is going to be a little short. I have something in the works. I'm doing something really cool over the next couple of days, and once I've revealed the videos and kind of explained what's going on, you'll see why I'm keeping it under wraps. But basically, I'm doing all the research, and then over the next couple of days, I'll be putting my bets actually down, and then once I get everything put together, I'll go ahead and put it together in the video. Mike, that's probably on my end. I think I messed up this stream. I think I made a mistake on this stream. I think instead of putting out the stream ahead of time properly. I think I did it very late last night. Making the 32 videos ahead of time put me off my schedule a little bit. This actually is very important for you, is that I'm going to have a video come out either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday with my year-to-date picks, my over-unders for the whole year, and my week 1 bet. So I'm going to have everything documented for you. Hit me up, though, Mike. If you have any questions about bets, I am pulling for you. I haven't set it up yet, but I am going to watch the Nevada California game, and I'm going to watch as much week 1 football as I can. But I'm not putting action down on Dallas, Tampa, and I'm not going to put any action on Dallas or Tampa Bay over under wise. However, if you want to know, I do like Tampa over 12, and I like Dallas under 9.5, but I'm not going to bet on either one. Right now, my main bets are, and I've been saying this for a long time, under 10.5 for San Francisco. If I'm correct, Seattle was 9.5. I'm going to take over on that. Pittsburgh over 8.5. I like that. I like the Raiders over 7.5. I am really high on the Giants. The Giants over under is 7. The Giants are my favorite to win the NFC East, but I'm not going to put a large amount of action on the Giants. And I'm kind of that's kind of a team that's on the bubble right there, the Giants. I'll be perfectly honest. So Giants, I'm kind of a bubble team. The Saints, I think, is 9 or 9.5. Another bubble team, but a team I'm very high on. My Chiefs, very, very small amount on over 10 or 12.5. Just the number's too big to put a large amount on that. But those are the teams I'm looking at right now. The Jets over under, it was at 6. If it's still at 6, I'm gonna take the under. I mean, the two defensive ends being out is just that team could be an absolute train wreck. Right now, the Jets are my number 1 team to have the number 1 pick in the draft. So I got Music City guy in the house, man. Hey, I saw that you commented on some of the videos. Your Titans are actually my favorite, and that was another thing is that you brought up. You're right, and you brought up one of the videos that they don't really. Titans really don't have a power run offense. It kind of just looks like that because of Derrick Henry. It's kind of interesting, and it's because why is that relevant? Well, basically what it is that it's Derrick Henry's probably not going to get as much abuse as a lot of other players that have over as many touches as he has. Derrick Henry's one of my favorite NFL players. Big man crush on Derrick Henry. So those would be my 2 teams, Mike. Jets or Lions with the number 1 overall pick for 2022. And those 2 are my 2 front runners. That's another team I'm probably not going to bet action on, but the more and more I look at the Houston Texans, the more and more I like them. I think the over-under was 4-4, and I definitely like them over 4. But right now, the Jets would be my number 1 pick to have the number 1 pick overall. Wilson was a very, very raw quarterback. I thought it was a mistake to just say, okay, he's going to be our day 1 starter. Mike puts down 3-14. When I did the video on the Jets over under, it was 6. And the last time I looked, it was still at 6. But I think as time goes on, that over under is going to drop. It's going to free fall. It wouldn't surprise me if it's at 5. And Mike, I'm going to do my best to have my videos with all my picks and what I bet out by Thursday. Worst case scenario, I'll have it out by Saturday. I will have both of them out before week 1 because there's several teams that I really like, but I'm going to try to limit my selections to just my top 2 or 3. And and I'm gonna do all that betting over the next couple of days. Basically, I'm keeping it under wraps, but I'm doing something really cool over the next several days, and I'll have a video out once it's all completed. So I'm sorry for the ambiguity here, but the big thing is that if you follow this channel, it's because unlike most people, I actually talk the talk. I just don't walk the walk. I got Alex. Welcome, brother. This is it. This is good news. And this is also a big reason why I like under 9.5, and I've been preaching under 9.5. But bottom line, I'm telling you right now, I'm not that high on the Cowboys. For the NFC East, the Giants are actually my favorite. That's why I like the over 7. But they're kind of on the cutting block because when it comes to over-unders, the fewer teams that you bet on, the better your chance of winning. It's really tempting to take like 7 or 9 teams and bet like an equal amount on all of them. But really the best thing to do is just bet a little bit on the top couple of teams. And then for week 1, it's the same thing. Because, I mean, if I really wanted to, I could make 12 different bets on week 1, but I'm really only going to bet on a handful of things. And I'll have a video out. I'll show you firsthand. But for those of you that I don't know, I'm going to tell you this right now, that there's one game I've circled and I've eyeballed and I love, and that's the Chargers at the Washington football team week 1. It's a noon game. So you got a West Coast team traveling to the East Coast for a noon game. I'm sorry, it's noon Central Standard Time. If you're on the East Coast, it'd be 1, but basically the early game. Chargers are favored, and I love Washington. Veteran coach versus a first-time coach, experience versus inexperience. A lot of people are really high on the Chargers. I am not. Just because you're talented, you got a new coach, you got a new system. I'm telling you right now, I think Washington wins this game. I think they are going to win it big. A banged up offensive line against a great defensive line. That is a game I am going to put some decent action on. And I feel really good about it, too. I feel really, really good about it. So, yeah. Music City guy says, I'm rooting for Jets, but division does them no favors with the – no. Right now today, if I had to say give me 1 through 32 as far as the draft picks, who's going to pick where, and there are so many teams that are going to have multiple picks, but the Jets right now are my favorite with the number 1 overall pick. They're my favorite. Alex says his injury is very similar to a baseball injury, very much internal. It's a shoulder injury, which he shouldn't be putting stress on in baseball. Many pitchers with the injury don't come. Really? Wow. I've been saying I didn't like them even before this injury. So, wow, it's really a damn shame because this is going to affect over under. If it doesn't, I actually might put action on under 9.5. Mike knows this, but the Tampa Bay Dallas line was at 6. It was at 6.5, and actually was going to put action on Tampa Bay to cover 6.5. And I said, if it gets to 7, forget it. A lot of places it's now 8. It may even go higher. So Alex says Washington wins division hands down. I'm not so sure. And the reason why is that the Giants defense last year was just as good as the Washington football team. I'd actually argue that the Giants defense is better. Saquon Barkley is going to be 100% healthy. And if he does play all 17 games, he'll be a top 2-3 running back in the league. The Giants, everything is better on the Giants, and the Giants, start off 0-5, finish 6-10. Fitzmagic, if he plays good, which you don't know. Bottom line, you just don't know. So, but I do like the Washington football team. I actually think that the Washington football team and the Giants are going to be like the 2 teams you got to watch out for. I think Dallas is 3rd, and I think Philly will be a disaster. I'm not so sure. I actually like the Giants. To tell you the truth, when I get ready to bet, if I can get better than 2-1 on Washington to win the division, I'm going to put Washington and the Giants because I think it's a 2-dog race. I think it's those 2 teams. Funk says, right, hey man, hey dude, Funk, I was running late, and some people told me that I didn't put a notification out for this live stream, and that's on me. Also, not this week, not this week. The following week, I will be on Wednesday when the NFL season gets started. I'll do Wednesday and Friday live streams, and I'm also going to toy around with a Monday night pregame show. Not the first Monday, but the second Monday. So I'll be on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The Monday night, I'm going to toy around with a 30-minute pregame show where if anybody wants to come on for a handful of minutes, that's would be what I'm kind of hoping is that we can have some engagement like that. Of course, I'll read all your comments, answer all your questions. It'll just be a rapid show, and I'll kind of just rapid fire through all the games that happened on Sundays. Wednesday will be a more detailed preview of all the games plus the action on Monday night, a preview of Thursday, and of course Friday will be the same show. Alex puts, Alex, okay, let me read this and then I'll comment. I'm sorry. I'm trying to do both at the same time. People do not truly understand baseball injuries. They don't seem serious, but they destroy the arms internally of a lot of players. I hope Dak doesn't stress it too much. You are 100% correct. And there's I can go into a lot of detail. I'm not overly familiar with baseball, but I am familiar with the baseball injuries. A lot of people don't understand that putting that much torque on it. You have to understand these guys are throwing baseballs 80 to 100 miles an hour. It puts a lot of strain on your body. It puts a lot of strain. It's not just your arm. It puts a strain on your midsection, your shoulder. It does so much to you. And, you're doing this, 80 to 100 times. I mean, you're throwing this just an extreme velocity. It really does cause a lot of damage. It really does. And if you don't know how to throw a ball properly, it causes a lot of damage. That's why footwork, footwork and how to properly throw a ball, throwing motion means a lot in the NFL. If you got a guy who's just got a terrible throwing motion, it will just really mess them up. That's why it's so important to have good footwork, the whole nine, pardon the pun, but the whole 9 yards. It's very important. But no, Alex, you put on something very, very important. Yeah. And that's a big, you know what? Forget the injury to Dak. I just didn't like Dallas to win over 9 games anyway. I didn't think they did. And if you watched Hard Knocks, I've only watched the first 3. I've watched enough of these. You can see a good team and a bad team. That's not a good team. I'm telling you this right now. That's not a good team. And for all you Dallas Cowboys fans that are joining, I said the same thing last year. I'm looking at this team. They're not going to be a contender. All right, they're just not. They got some good pieces in play though. My boy Tim, can't wait till September the 12th. First off, it's my birthday, and second, I'll be at T-Mobile Park watching a Mariners game. But don't worry, I'll be streaming the Chiefs on my phone. Bring on football. So you will be in Seattle. That is really awesome. That is awesome. For those of you who don't know, Tim has a side piece in Seattle, so do not tell his wife. So I got you, Tim. I got you. And Tim, I'm actually going to shoot you some text messages. I'm almost positive you know what's going on. Alex says Dallas is a very QB heavy team which relies on Dak to win games. They don't score 40 plus points to win games. Dallas. No, and this is part of the Mike McCarthy system, is that you need a quarterback. It's a quarterback run offense. It's a lot on timing more than it is about really being complex. It actually looks complex if you watch it for the first, second time. It's really not, by NFL standards, it's not complex, but the back shoulder throws take a lot of timing. And it also requires throws that they look like they're not all the way downfield, but those 10, 15-yard outs, the 12-yard crossing routes, it's a lot more distance and requires a lot more power than you may think. the back shoulder throws are pinpoint accurate throws that have to be made in a very small window. That's kind of the reason why I didn't like Mike McCarthy going to Dallas in the first place, is because Dallas, go look at Dallas in the first. Okay, Dak Prescott's first season there, 12-4. You want to debate whether it's a catch or not. The Dez Bryant drop on fourth down, it wasn't a completion. I mean, that's just it. But to me, it's obvious. But that team was built on some zone read, Ezekiel Elliott, a powerful offensive line, and a good defense, and not that much passing. The more Dallas throws the ball, the worse and worse the record gets, but nobody can put these things together. Dak Prescott, he can throw the ball. Look at Dak Prescott. Look at those 5 games he had 1,800 yards. They were 2-3 in those games. And the one win was against Atlanta where they fall on an onside kick, they lose. They should have been 1-4. A lot of times passing yards is a very bad statistic to have. A lot of times you don't want to have a lot of passing yards because it shows that you can't run from behind. But this team was built to be a running team. Now, we're going to be a passing team. And then they want to flip-flop defensive schemes, which is, it's one thing to switch a coach, but when you want to tear apart your system, so no, Dallas is not that good of a team. But again, 9.5. If it's still 9.5, I might put some action on Dallas. Come to think of it, Alex. If I don't come out with the video before Friday's live stream, I'll let everybody know who joins what I'm going to bet on, because I will have some action down very, very soon. Music City guy says, do I think Cam could go to Washington? Actually, yes. For those of you that don't know, Ron Rivera coached Cam almost his whole career in Carolina. He's taken over at Washington, and they brought on Fitzpatrick, but he's not the long-term solution. There was a lot of talk that they were going to draft a quarterback, and I laughed at everybody. I said, look, you don't spend a first-round pick on a quarterback and don't let him play, and that's exactly what happened. But as the season went on, the rift between Riviera and 22 minutes, and I already had my first name, Dwayne Haskins, was huge, and a lot of it's Haskins' immaturity, even though he's immensely talented. Here's what I think is going to happen with Cam, is that there's going to be a quarterback that gets hurt, and then Cam will go to that team. The team I actually think he'd be a great fit on, and it's because I think I haven't done a ton of research yet, but I do know that Geno Smith was hurt for a little bit, but I thought Seattle would be a perfect team, and only in a pure backup capacity. But I think there'll be a starting quarterback who will go down, and they'll be like, hey, Cam, you want to come in? And it'll be that type of situation. But could Cam go to war? Absolutely. And I think that would be a good fit for Cam to go to a team like Washington, where Ron Rivera knows where he works at, but or knows what he can and can't do. But one thing I noticed is that Ron Rivera wasn't overly public about his praise for Newton, and I'm kind of wondering if he's kind of like, maybe we don't want this guy. Alex says Texans beating the Jags, going to be a low-scoring game, 28-17. Both offenses will be lacking, but the Texans defense will play very well, especially with that terrible O-line. You actually have something there, Alex. The Texans are a team that more and more I look at them, the more and more I like them. The Tampa 2 defense that Lovie Smith's going to put on is really going to be a game changer. And I can't emphasize this enough, and you confirmed it. Watch the Chiefs-Arizona Cardinals preseason game. J.J. Watt, they constantly flashed to Patrick Mahomes and J.J. Watt. Pay attention. J.J. Watt the whole time was like this. Didn't interact, didn't talk to anybody. Watch Patrick Mahomes. He had like 2 or 3 guys around him. He's always laughing, joking. He was talking like the Miracle Hardman who had to drop, and then Miracle Hardman's like joking around. But you could tell they're talking. They're having. It's not Patrick Mahomes. You did this wrong, and they're interacting. It looked like it was a teaching moment. I really get the impression that the Houston Texans defensive players were kind of just, dude, he's just doing his own thing. He's got his big contract. He's, thinking about life after football. Remember, he hosted Saturday Night Live. And you just kind of get the impression that he's just doing his own thing. I really think that this Texans defense and Ross Blacklock, I love this guy. I absolutely love this guy. I think he could be absolutely disruptive in this defense. And another thing is that Romeo Crennel's defense was exceptionally complicated. Lovie Smith's defense is not. It's pretty simplistic, especially by NFL standards. It's just that you have to do it very fast. And against a team like Jacksonville, they actually match up really well. So it's definitely a game I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to. Alex, it would not surprise me. I'm not going to bet on that game, but the Texans over 4, I'm really tempted to put some action on. That would be the best place for Cam. Washington. Yeah, Funk, I don't disagree with that. I really don't disagree with that at all. But I think he'll go to a team where he gets hurt. I was kind of circling Seattle, and the only reason why is I knew Geno Smith had an injury. I think he's okay now. I haven't really researched it and took a look, but bottom line, I just thought that would be kind of a good fit. Keep in mind, Russell Wilson's played 8 straight years without missing a game. Extremely durable, but a team that's a run-heavy team. But they got the new coordinator from the Los Angeles Rams who's instituting a short passing game. Definitely not one of Cam's strengths, but a team like Seattle and Washington, I could see both those teams. I don't think Cam would be picked up by any team at least this season. That could also happen. That really could also happen. Dallas just aren't a complete team with all the names in town. They just don't have it. 2000 exactly. That's a good analogy. The defense is going to struggle. They didn't really add to the defensive line enough. I really thought that they needed more guys. If you're going to run that cover 3 Tampa 2 type of scheme, you really need studs on that defensive line. They really just don't have it. They went all in on linebackers. And don't get me wrong, I get it if Van Der Esch is going to leave, but that's just my thought process. I'm double dipping. I'm taking coffee and an energy drink. By the way, I'm over 61% sure that I wasn't late for doing rails. I'm just letting you guys know that. I wasn't doing a bunch of blow, and that's why I was late today. I'm letting you guys know that. Over 61% sure. I'm getting jacked up. I am so glad it's Friday. I agree, Alex. I don't think the Jags should be favored over the Texans with a team coming off of 1-15 with a rookie coach and quarterback. You're 100% right. Urban Meyer is widely respected around the NFL. And most people, even though neither one of them has coached the game, a lot of people respect Urban Meyer more than David Coley. It's a bigger name. And in gambling communities, it's the bigger name that they're looking at. So this is a game that was 2.5. It's jumped up to 3. Last I looked at it was 3, but I would not at all be. Houston's a team that I think could definitely be better than people think. And everybody said the worst team in the league. But right now, I think it's the Jets. Houston's a team that I think if Deshaun Watson says, you know what, I just want to play. I'm gonna win the starting job. I'm gonna take it away from Tyrell Taylor, and I'm gonna play. I think that there's a slim chance they can make the playoffs. There's a lot of good things. The more and more I think about, the more and more I look at them, the more and more I like the Houston Texans. Travis Etienne's injury is a big deal. The reason why is that offense is slow. James Robinson, great running back, not track guy. DJ Chark's a fast guy. Chenault's not a fast guy. The one thing about Urban Meyer is he always had a ton of speed on both sides of the ball. That this team's not fast. this team really needs an infusion of talent, and they need a lot more than just Urban Meyer. And they got a brand new coaching staff on the offensive defensive coordinator. The offensive guy, Darrell Bevel, he came from Detroit. Their offensive coordinator, I'm drawing a blank, came from the Ravens. He's first-time coordinator. Lovie Smith, very, very, very well traveled defensive coordinator. Should be an NFL head coach again soon if he wants to be. And honestly, I don't know who the offensive coordinator is in Houston. So, Tim, I hope those Dirty Mariners lose to the game. Yeah. So, and I apologize. I'm a little behind on the comments. One Pride 40, what's awesome? How is awful? Oh, man. And One Pride is Gator, and I'm going to take responsibility for this. Mike told me I forgot to put out the alert for the live stream, it looks like. So that's on me. I finally finished all 32 NFL breakdowns. I finished my last video last night. I had to finish up early because I'm doing all my sports betting over the next couple of days. I'm going to have a couple videos. I think and you'll understand my logic next week, but I'm being secretive. Some of you probably know what's going on, but I'm being secretive for a reason. Mike, do you see UNC struggling against VT? And Mike responds, yeah. Mike is going to turn me on to a bunch of college. For those of you who do not have a stake in it, I don't know if there's any Cal fans. We're all cheering for Nevada. I believe it's Saturday. Mike, let me know if that's different. I'm going to DVR the game, Mike. But very much looking forward to that. I say this every year. I'm going to try to watch more college football. My schedule doesn't really allow it. So, yeah. Alex says Urban Meyer hasn't been doing well converting NFL plays, as I've heard. I do not think the Jags win with a terrible O-line, rookie quarterback, and then which they're starting, and a head coach which hasn't coached. Okay, the offensive line can be good. It depends on the scheme. They were terrible in a West Coast offense because they're designed to be a power drive blocking scheme. You have Cam Robinson on the left side, who really is built more like he really should be a starting right tackle. He had a great rookie season when the Jaguars advanced to the AFC Championship, and then he's had injuries, and he's definitely not an elite athletic guy, but he's a beast. I mean, he's a guy I really think should be on the right side. Juwan Taylor, a lot of people thought would be better suited at guard. He played tackle at Florida. He's going on the outside. He's been the right tackle. He struggled last year because the West Coast offense is built more for athletic, nimble linemen, and that's definitely not something that they have. But these are powerful guys, and it's going to be interesting to see how Urban Meyer's offense works with this offensive line because they're a powerful group. And then they also got thanks to oh God, I forgot his name here. Thanks to Dustin, he let me know Greg Little was traded to Jacksonville, and he may earn a starting spot, but they have to do some changes along their offensive line. But if they use the offensive line right, and they don't ask them to move side to side and try to do a zone blocking scheme, they could be really good. They could be really good. I thought that they would have been really good last year if they didn't run a West Coast offense and then just had Leonard Fournette. But, of course, they got rid of Leonard Fournette. James Robinson's more of a power back. Will be interesting to see how he adapts. But, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right. A football game, let alone – yeah, you're completely right, man. Yeah, I got you. Slasher, I'll take that under for 9.5. Yeah, Dallas at 9 – last I looked, 9.5, and – I'm just saying I don't see it. Dallas is a team that gets a lot of national publicity, but they're really not that good of a team. And this is something that I wasn't 100% sure about Dak's injury. But if it's an issue and it's 9.5, I may actually put a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Yeah, I'm with you, Slasher, man. Lions better win 7 games at least. I don't even want to touch how. I don't know if you get 7, One Pride. I really don't. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm pulling for you guys, but I mean, Detroit to me looks like they're just building from the ground up, and so I mean, this year I would not expect a lot, but what you want to see is continual improvement. Yeah, I think 7 might be a little overly optimistic, but I'm pulling for you guys. I'm definitely pulling for you guys week 1. I really need get San Francisco started 0-1. James is in the house. What's up, brother? Man, I'm damn glad to see you, man. Oh yeah, Dan, I watch out for Sam Houston State. Eric Schmid already had a good game going, 21 out 37, 286, only 1 interception, all in a 42-16. I will keep an eye out on him, Alex. I actually, with YouTube TV, I can actually DVR some Sam Houston State. I think that game was available. I didn't DVR it. I can program it in. Do me a favor, because as you well know, I'm not on cocaine, but I am scatterheaded thanks to 2 fisting coffee and an energy drink, not on drugs. Remind me later so I can set my DVR up and I will check it out. I am going to try to check out Pacific teams this year. Mike turned me on early to Coastal Carolina. Oh, I'm speaking of Mike here. Also, I do like their quarterback. I like the quarterback. I just don't think he's an NFL quarterback, but I would love nothing more if he won the Heisman. This would be Tyrell Taylor, but I'll let Alex answer that. I'd take under 6 wins for the Jags. The AFC South plays the NFC West. The only teams to beat would be the Bengals and the Jets. That's actually an excellent point. The over-under was 6, jumped up to 6.5. And if it stays at 6.5, I might actually join you on that. I do like Trevor Lawrence. Laviska Shenault, I think, will be good. I also like the fact that they're switching to a 3-4 defense. I thought that was a major win. I have no idea why they didn't run a 3-4 last year. They have personnel for a 3-4. Josh Allen and Chasem, the kid from LSU, those are 3-4 outside linebackers. They're not defensive ends. So those guys could be really good. But one of the things is that in the AFC South, you're going against, I think Houston's going to be kind of a run-heavy team. But, the Colts, I think, are going to be run-heavy, especially early in the season. Of course, the Titans are a run-heavy team. So, I do think that – now, Jacksonville could also just get really hot in a weak division. So, but I think it's actually 6.5. I'm going to pass. And one of the rules I've learned over the years, and I may change my mind later on, but I don't bet on rookie head coaches. I just pass. And that's what I'm going to do this year. But yeah, great point. And it's 6.5. I'll double check on that. The Travis Etienne injury is big. I believe the Texans are going back to a defensive-heavy team, though they are still looking for a good QB along with a solid head coach. Love Coley, but I don't think he'll be here for long. Definitely could be the scapegoat. When you bring in a coordinator with lots of head coaching experience like Lovie Smith, you could easily just move right into the head coaching job, especially if they start to a bad start. But I honestly think that if they show any sort of promise, he'll come back for a second year. But if you had to tell me is Coley coming back as the head coach, I would probably say no. But I mean, hey man, we still got a season left. I also keep in mind, if let's just say with this defense, he's able to get 7 or 8 wins when they're predicted to win, 3, the over under is 4. So he may get a chance. He may get a chance, but it was it was not a big name, not one of the top candidates, and you're gonna have some good candidates coming out this year. I mean, Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs is a prime coaching candidate. Both coordinators from Tampa Bay, Byron Leftwich, and I just did the video. The former Jets head coach. I can't believe I forgot his name. Those are 2 big time prime candidates. Trying to think of somebody else off the top of my head. Matt Eber, the Colts defensive coordinator, prime candidate. He didn't get a lot of interviews. I think he only got 1, but I'm surprised Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator for the Saints. He's a guy who should have been a head coach whatever reason he's not getting it, but he'll be a prime candidate to be one. So I just named 5, just bam off the top of my head, and I'm not even touching college coaches that may be interested. And then Alex is going to confirm Taylor. And then I may hear the Texans may run out Davis Mills, which I believe isn't a good thing. For those of you that don't know the story about Davis Mills, he was a extremely high recruit, went to Stanford. He only played in 11 games. He had multiple injuries, but all the talent in the world. As far as pure arm talent, he's light years ahead of Taylor. There's no comparison. There's no comparison between Davis Mills' arm talent and Tyrod Taylor's arm talent. And Davis Mills probably has a top, pure arm talent, probably top 12, top 12, top 15 out of all NFL quarterbacks. Arm talent's amazing. Multiple knee injuries, only 11 starts at Stanford, a world of talent, a pure pocket passer. If Texans are smart, I think they give Tyrod Taylor the chance, give Davis Mills, just say, hey, look, this is what you do. Watch this veteran quarterback play. These guys are completely different quarterbacks. Tyrod Taylor's going to run. He's going to have a short passing game. Davis Mills is a guy who's got a big-time arm, world of potential, extremely raw. I wouldn't want – if you draft a guy like Davis Mills, you don't want him even – touch the football field this year. If he does, I agree with you, Alex. It's not a good thing, but I mean, it wouldn't surprise me either if the Texans say, hey, look, 2022, Davis Mills is our guy. We're going to go ahead and do that. And the only way you do that is if you're completely sure of his game, which means that maybe he starts the last game of 2021. You also have to have enough wins that you don't have an opportunity to have the number 1 pick. Because if they have the number 1 pick, they're not going to say, yeah, we'll go with this questionable 3rd round pick. You're not going to do that. Houston, take Howell. He is the chosen one. I like Davis Mills before the draft. He's coming off an injury, and he has a world of potential. Mike, okay, hold on. I am really behind. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm behind. I'm now about 15 minutes behind on comments. I'm going to go through these fast. Jets or Lions, number 1 pick. Right now the Jets are my number 1. Lions are going to probably have a pretty high pick. I don't know if they're number 1. I would put the Jets over the Lions, definitely, though. I was watching UNC and VT, and UNC was struggling. That's a shame because for those of you that don't know, that's not the Howell kid? No, it's. Is it the Howell kid? The North Carolina quarterback could go number 1. Mac Brown, the coach of North Carolina, started in North Carolina about 30 years ago, transferred to Texas. He's the guy who coached Texas when they had when they won the national championship. They had a team loaded with stars. Oh God, what's his name? Just a bomb in the NFL. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Anyway, the team that beat the USC team and maybe the best national championship game ever played. So Vince Young. Okay, that was the guy's name. But anyway, he got, after staying out coaching, he's back at North Carolina and is recruiting a ton of talent. That North Carolina next year or in 2 years from now is going to be a top 10 team. They are recruiting a ton of players. They're going to give Clemson a run for their money. Probably not this year, but next year. Howell looks awful. Highly doubt it, Mike. All right. I mean, Tim Kelly. Okay, that's right. Bevel got Marvin Jones to come to. The guy doesn't have speed, but a solid wide receiver. The issue is with Urban Meyer's always coached with a lot of speed and has positionless players. He wants running backs that can catch. He wants wide receivers to run on end arounds, and he doesn't really have that. The only player he has is a little Visca Chenault, who's a bigger dude. He's like 220. I think at the combine he was 228. Even though he returned punts and kicks and showed good speed. He ran, I think it was like a 4.59, which that was the reason why Jacksonville was able to get him in the second round. He'll have a lot of carries this year, but he's not a speed guy. Marvin Jones isn't a speed guy. They're going to upgrade. So, yeah. He's a jump ball receiver. Mike's been pretty adamant that, and Funk, I think me and Mike are, I think Mike is partly just busting your balls, but I mean, he doesn't think that, he thinks this is a terrible team. And I've been telling Lions fans, just look, the over under, it dropped from 5 to 4.5. And that's what I see is 5. And I think Mike's not joking when he says 3. Yeah. I mean, I want you guys to win week 1. Please beat the Niners. But yeah, you got a bad team, man. It's a bad team in Detroit, even though we're pulling for you. It's a bad team, man. Really bad team. I don't think it would be. I'm hoping you're not, but realistically, yeah. So Lions are a similar position as the Texans 6-win team. The over-under was 5, now it's 4.5. Mike, for me, I got Kent State being this year's coach, so I think they'll cover against A&M, and I would take the over. Really, Kent State? That's really interesting. At least we don't get Howell or Slovis. Lions are in a development. Yes, 100% on board. The floor is very solid for the first time in a long time. They're making all the right moves. They're building a fantastic foundation. It's just the returns are going to be low. Remember, they get 2 first-round picks in the next 2 years. And I'm telling you this right now, they're going to get some good players. I'm going to pay attention to Kent State. I should take some notes, but some of you guys, please remind me. So that's what Vegas has, right? Well, okay. Vegas opened up at 5. It dropped to 4.5. I haven't looked at it, but yeah, I'm pulling for them. But yeah, I can't tell you how much I've had really great experiences with the Lions fans in the chat. Luke G let me go on the show twice. I love the Luke G show. I can't watch it at work, so I want to get involved just like you guys are getting involved. But I love his show. He had one guest that said 10. I was, as the kids say, pure cap. So it is what it is. I'm pulling for the Lions, especially week 1. Please beat San Francisco. Well, your Eagles are winning 3, though. The Eagles are another team that I was really disappointed. I remember I was all excited to watch them on preseason. I want to see how Jalen Hurts looked, and he had that injury. And it's like I know what I'm getting out of Flacco, and then it was funny. Red Sea, who's I haven't seen in the chat yet, he posted on Instagram the snap that went over his head. He goes, Eagles are in preseason form, so yeah. Pride 7 at the tops. They may get 4 on paper too because they play up for HCDC and 1 because somebody else shits the bed. You got a good point, Funk. I'm just not sure they get it. I'm just not really sure they can get to 7. The over under is 4.5. I thought 5 and 12 to me sounded just about right. And I would have taken, actually, to tell you the truth, I would take over 4.5 or 5, but I was really surprised Dorsey didn't make more moves. And I'm just letting you know that I was really expecting a lot more, but maybe they're just taking a more conservative approach and just saying, hey, baseline, and then the next 2 years. What I would pay attention to is not the wins and losses, but how do they play? At the end of the season, if they just give up, then that's a red flag. But if they're playing tough at the end of the season, even if they get losses, that's a good thing. I'm rooting for the Jags. There's a lot of things I like about Jacksonville, but I'm disappointed in the speed. And I can't tell you how bad the injury was to Travis Etienne. The Liz Frank injury is really bad. And this is a guy that really needed to add something. They had really big plans for this guy. He was going to do a lot for this team. So it's a very disappointing injury. Well, Funk, I don't want Howell. I want Thibodeau or my boy Hamilton. With Thibodeau, to be honest with you, I think he's more of a pure 4-3 defensive end. But in your defense, to be an outside linebacker, that would be a lot of fun. I'm off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank on Hamilton. if your Lions are in a situation where they can get Thibodeau, that means that you're getting a top 5 pick, and more than likely in that situation, you're probably taking a quarterback. And there's going to be some good quarterbacks in this draft. So Eagles are far better teams than the Lions. We will win 8-9. No, you're not. I don't know about 8 or 9. There's a lot of question marks. But if I'm correct, the Eagles do play the Lions this year. The Eagles are a team that I am interested to see how they do, because there are some things I like. I really wanted to see more of Hurts with the starting 2 receivers. Ertz is still on the team, which I'm really surprised at. So you have 2 really good tight ends. Lots of youth and lots of talent at the wide receiver position. I want to see how these play. I love Miles Sanders. You have some good players on defense. It'll be an interesting team to watch. I don't think you're going to win 8-9. I definitely wouldn't take that number. But the Eagles play the Lions, so they get to find out on the field. I hope we get more trash talking as that game goes on. I already bet the Fins and probably bet Charlotte and the Jags week 1. The Charlotte game, I haven't even looked. You took the Fins. You got 3 if I'm correct. And the Jags, I'm curious if you got 2.5 or 3 there too. So that's interesting. If you don't mind, let me know. And I apologize that I'm behind on the comments. If we, there's a solid chance we do pick top 5, I want to see a trade back and gain a 3rd first for 2023 more than any specific player. That could definitely happen. The only issue with that would be you would have to be, let's just say 5. Okay, let's just say 5. You would have to get a team that was very hungry, like San Francisco, needing a quarterback. And then what you would do is do exactly what San Francisco did, trade back, and then you would have 3 number 1 picks in the first round next year, and then you can do whatever you want. More than likely, if you do that, you're eyeballing a quarterback. I don't know his name, I am 100% sure it's going to be the Clemson quarterback. I think NFL teams are already positioning for that Clemson quarterback. He is going to be the first pick in the 2023 NFL draft. This year, I've heard a lot of different names. Was it Derek or Daryl Stingley Jr., a corner out of LSU, could surprise everybody and be the first overall pick. I doubt that would happen. Thibodeau could be the guy. Multiple quarterbacks have been mentioned already. We're going to do a ton of draft stuff. So this is going to be the next couple of drafts are going to be a lot of fun, because there's going to be teams with multiple picks, and I think there's going to be a lot of movement around. So it's going to be a really good thing. If the Lions do what you say, then just circle that Clemson quarterback in a Lions uniform, because that would be the goal. I promise you, our injuries to our O-line wide receivers hindered their season. Drinking the Greek. I wish you. I think it's luck. And yeah. Okay, sorry. Yeah, me too. And that's the thing. We're all pulling for Mike. Hopefully, you guys are pulling for me too. I'll have a video out. If I don't have a video, I'll reveal all my picks in next week's show. Over the next several days, I'll be placing my bets. It's just a question of when can I get the content all together. So yeah, and I'm always going to pull for Mike too, of course. Texans are looking to be a run first strong defensive team. The QB play may be kept to a low. Offensive Tim Kelly said himself he wants to use the run game a lot more this season. And you got some, and what I like that they did is you got to compare and contrast. And then you also got David Johnson. All right. So you got Ingram, between the tackles, steady Eddie guy. You know, he's the guy that 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, he's going to get the ball. Phillip Lindsay plays bigger than his size, has big play ability. Not really great deep speed, more quick than fast, but he's the type of guy that can make a lot of big plays. As a Chiefs fan, I was glad that he left Denver. I thought that was a thing that I did not understand why. Actually, I do understand why, but I like it when coaches say, we want this type of player, and even though this player is productive, we just don't like him because he's not the type of guy we want. Denver wants a bigger, more physical running back. Lindsey's not that, but when you have Ingram, you have the power runner. I'm gonna call Ingram a power runner. Lindsey, the shifty guy, and then you got David Johnson, who's a good contrast between the two. And so you're going to have multiple running backs do multiple things in that offense. And then you got some young, talented receivers. Don't forget Brandon Cooks, when he's healthy, is a legitimate number one wide receiver. So, yeah. Oh, Jesus. This is awesome. This is awesome. I am behind on my comments, so I'm going to get to everyone. I'm going to try to go faster here. Your head coach is clueless. Your wide receivers aren't very good. Your defense is trash. Offense line. Jesus Christ. I like Tyrell Taylor too. What's with the over under on Dan having Coke is in I bet you what. I'm happy we're keeping Reynolds. How's that UNC? Okay, you don't like Howell. There's a lot of talk about Spencer Rattler too. He's a guy I'm not very high on. You are hilarious. One pride of Brooks and Lane never went down. The Eagles would have easily taken the NFC East, and that's just facts. We're in the playoff 3 straight seasons where they went down. The football team's O-line is better than yours, and no, it'd still go to Washington. Who you're referring to, One Pride 40, they're just fighting here. Luke G's in the house, man. Luke. Oh, damn. I'm behind on comments, man. I didn't get a chance to listen to your show today because if I do, it's at work and then I don't get work done. Unfortunately, I had to. God damn, it's good to see you. As you well know, if you don't know, you're always welcome to come on the show. You don't need to ask. Just hit me up. Just hit me up anytime if you want to come on and talk a little bit, man. Some trash talk about your Lions, but I am definitely 100% pulling for them on week 1. So good luck this year, man. By the way, but for everybody who's not subscribed to Luke G Field Review, open up another browser, Luke G Field Review. Please subscribe to his channel. Unlike a lot of people, Luke's pretty objective. There's not the fanboy that you may see from a lot of other people. Luke shoots you straight, man. I love his show. All right. Sorry, man. I'm behind. What teams do you have making the playoffs that didn't make it last year? Who missed the playoffs? Okay, this is Amazement 717. This is awesome, man. Welcome to the channel. I'm behind on comments. What teams do you have making the playoffs that didn't make it last year? Who missed the playoffs that made it last year? Okay. Let's go with the AFC. I'm very high on Miami and New England. I think these two teams could easily make a push to the playoffs. Miami's my dark horse Super Bowl team. Just a lot of young talents. Question of getting them all together and a question of them staying healthy. Phillips had some issues. Jalen Waddle had some issues. If both these guys play 15 or more games during the season, this is going to be an extremely dangerous team. There's so much talent on the Miami Dolphins. Some really good corners. And then Jalen Phillips lives up to that potential. And they're going to use him as an outside linebacker, not a defensive end. So there's going to be sort of a transition. But if he ends up being that pure pass rusher that really they didn't have last year, along with a really good secondary, there's really no limit how good the Dolphins could be. The Patriots, you got a rookie quarterback, which is always kind of a red flag. But that front seven could just be awesome. 2 really good corners on the back end. Also, they look since they traded their running back, the Georgia kid. I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, they 4th round pick Rondale Stevenson, world of potential, barely used in college, 245-pound battering ram, who has all sorts of insane highlight reels. Damian Harris, absolute monster. Those two teams. Keep an eye on them. AFC. I'm letting people know right now, I expect Cleveland not to make the playoffs, even though if you play them on Madden, they're a great team. Teams that usually go up usually come back down. Cleveland Browns, AFC team, I would say, are not going to the playoffs. They're going to be probably one of my more disappointing teams. A lot of people are high on Cleveland. I'm telling you right now, a team that shoots up usually comes back down. 8 new starters on defense and a tough schedule. I would also kind of a dark horse team to maybe make a wild card would be the Raiders as far as the AFC is concerned. NFC, Minnesota's a team that could be very dangerous. Chicago, to me, could win 11 games. They could win 5 games. It really is just a question on the offensive line And can the defense get revved back up? The defense has to be at least top 8 for them to go to the playoffs. I'm not sure. Minnesota, I think, will get to the playoffs. They may be able to win that division. I like Arizona to make the playoffs. I'm trying to think here. And then I have the Giants winning the NFC East, which is not everybody does. I do like the Giants to win the division, so they would go back to the playoffs. So Giants in the NFC, same with Arizona. Who doesn't make the playoffs? I'm not going to go against the Saints, but I mean, they're a team, that won 49 games over the last 4 years. Tampa Bay's, I think, clearly going to be the best team in the NFC South, but I think Saints could make the playoffs. What other team made the playoffs? Washington could make the playoffs as well. I like Seattle to win the West, and if the Rams stay healthy, they'll get in. If they have any injury issues, the Rams will be out. So, Slasher, no one in the NFC East has a better O-line than the Eagles. Come on, man. I really want to touch base on this, but I'm really behind on comments, so I'm gonna. Luke should be ready for the MSU. Does MSU play? Oh, I wish I would have known this because I actually did want to watch Michigan State this year. Luke walks in here to say, look, me and Luke can agree to disagree, but I don't think they're going to be a good team this year. Washington's O-line's better than yours. Lions will be 9-8. There are a lot of question marks because we do not know what they're bringing to the table, but I feel like they have enough to win now. Wow. Funk, it's all good. They'll be better than people think. And that's the thing. Everybody's got a different opinion. It's all welcome here. I respect Luke G's opinion a lot more than most people. I don't have them winning 9. The over-under is 4.5. So Bovado has Fitzmagic in golf throwing the most interception. That's actually really interesting because I could see that with both these quarterbacks. The only thing is, though, with Ron Rivera is he likes to be old school, but Fitzmagic's been known to throw a lot of interceptions. A quarterback I would put in there would be Justin Herbert. New offensive line, new system, Herbert. Eagles offense just isn't good, and that defense has a lot to be desired. Eagles ain't winning. I love the trash talk. I don't watch football with the volume on. I DVR football, Luke, and I bounced through quite a bit. I thought it was perfect timing. How can you say that when you haven't seen them play? It's a completely different offense. University of Houston will join the Big 12 in 20. I didn't know this. That's a great move. That's a great move for both because the Big 12 is on complete life support right now. Dan wanted to know a fun fact. The Lions. I did not know this, and that's a good move. This is a good thing. Lions guys, any advice on Michigan State and Northwestern? Bears will have one of the oldest. Take Northwestern. Bucks are the oldest. Tennessee Titans logic. What's up, man? My Titans will have a better offense than your nasty Chiefs. I don't see that. And the reason why I don't see that is if you watch my video breaking down your team, no running back who's had 2,000 yards has even come close to the next year. The closest one was Barry Sanders, who had, I think it was 1,490. Julio Jones is not the same guy he was 5 years ago. A.J. Brown's going to be your number one. And Tannehill, forget anybody – PFF, I think it was like 1 or 2 years ago, had Ryan Tannehill as their number one quarterback. If you have Tannehill over Mahomes, you just are smoking crack. But their offense is really good. So, yeah. Take Michigan. I think they have a bit more talent areas that will hard for Northwestern to cover. Michigan State. Okay, I'm behind on comments, but one thing about Michigan State is that the coach came from Georgia. It was Georgia's offensive coordinator. He's got a pipeline into that Georgia-Florida skill position talent pool. He's getting a lot of SEC talent to go to Michigan State, and that's going to be very dangerous because if you are a team in the Midwest, or I'm calling Michigan State a Midwest team. They have if they can get a pipeline in the Southeast skill position talent, that's just on a different level. They have a chance to be a continuously ranked team, and they'll surpass, even though they did beat Michigan last year. Most people consider Michigan a better team than Michigan State, but yeah, there's Michigan State's doing some really good things. I kind of want to watch them. I'm not really sure who their quarterback is. They got a freshman wide receiver who came from Georgia last year, the state of Georgia, not the university, that I really, really like a lot. So their team I kind of want to keep my eye on. No, they're not the oldest. Bears, Texans, and Cardinals. Wrong. Youngest rosters are the Lions, Panthers, and Jets. I saw something that said Bears. Yeah, the Bears are oldest. Bears, Bucks. I'm just talking starters, probably the Bucks. The Bears got an old roster. That's one thing that I do like about the Lions. And this is also why I don't expect a lot of them this year. You're building from the bottom up, but you're building the team the right way. Tighten up, brother. Dolphins are among the youngest. Dolphins have a ton of youth, and that's why they're more of my dark horse because they got a lot of players I think that might Austin Jackson starting left tackle. He was 20 last year when they drafted him. So does he need 2 years to develop? Because sooner or later he's going to be a Pro Bowl left tackle. I just don't know if it's next year. Your guard who played right tackle, I'm drawing a blank on his name. You got that linebacker, was it Andrew Van Equal, something like that. He was a 5th round pick. Loved him out of Wisconsin. Ended up making some really good plays. You also remember last year you drafted 3 first-round picks. So, I mean, the Dolphins got a ton of draft picks that they keep adding, plus they're going to get all those picks from the 49ers. So they're building a very, very young team. That's done on purpose. They just scrapped the team that was consensual, or, they kept on going 9 wins, 7 wins, 9 wins, and they said, no, screw this. We're starting from scratch. Yeah, everybody remember Tank for Tua? Remember Tank for Tua? They started off 0-9, and I kept on saying, if you remember 2 years ago, I kept on saying the Dolphins will win a team. They're not going winless, and then they end up doing pretty good. They ended up finishing, I want to say, 5 wins out of their last no, that's not right, is it? Yeah, or 4 wins, 4 or 5, something like that. But anyway, they didn't go winless. Still got Tua, and they got a bunch of young draft picks. They ended up winning 10. They went from 5 to 10. And the thing is, though, can they go from 10? They probably won't go 15, but if they do improve. But there's some holes in Miami, but that's my dark horse. Super Bowl winners, very young team. DJ Smith. yeah, he's 100% going to be the first pick in the 2023 draft. Absolutely love this kid. A world of talent, big time. He's like 250, and he can move. For you, I don't know how many of you. If you're older, you'll remember Dante Culpepper. That's what he reminds me of. Except that Culpepper more had a big arm, didn't have as much accuracy. This guy has touch. Really good player. Really, really, really good player. He'll be number 1 pick in 2023. Lions, I wouldn't be surprised on at all. And I don't know this for a fact. I'm going to just take your guys' words for it. So, yeah. Texans are one of the oldest teams right now, the oldest, but an old team nonetheless. Yeah, and they'll get younger as time goes on, but yeah, but I like what they're doing. I do like them to cover 4. I'll say that. Bears, Texans, Cardinals are the 3 oldest teams. I'm surprised the Bucks aren't in there, to be honest. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are the oldest team in the NFL. And you keep in mind, all right, this may be the whole roster average, but if you're looking at just the starting 22, or let's just say 24 if you want to count the nickel back, and then have like 12 starters on defense. But as far as starters are concerned, Tampa Bay would have the oldest starting team. I mean, you have the two Hall of Famers. Brady's 44, and Sue is I think Sue's 35. I think he turns 36. I mean, just those two alone just elevates the number. I can see the Cardinals. It's kind of funny. Bears some old coots. You guys are spreading misinformation. Just Googling. Jets are the youngest. Okay, I didn't know that. Third youngest team. So I Googled it and found different articles. Here's the one shows team age, youngest. And keep in mind, you're going to get starters is one number, and then you're going to get the whole 53, and then you're going to have some that are like going to include practice squad players. So it's going to be different things. I can tell you this: if you just take the pure starters, Tampa Bay is the oldest team. And just from the number standpoint, if you watch my video, they got at least 8 starters that are 30 or older, and I don't know if another. And the quarterback's 44. Nobody else has got a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, best of my knowledge. So, yeah. Sport Track. All right. Wow. Holy shit. Wow. Not as much as you may think. The whole season still to play. Wow. Okay. Teams lose. It shouldn't affect the stock. This I do agree. And by the way, I will defer to Luke when it comes to draft. He does a lot more film study in college football than I do. So Luke. I will give credit. Luke is not a fanboy. Just look up where the Eagles O-line ranked in 2017. The Eagles had a record-setting number of offensive line injuries last year. I do admit that. Lane is a Pro Bowl right tackle. Kelsey, that was a Pro Bowl center. He missed a ton of time. Brooks, Pro Bowl guard, missed, I think, if not all the whole season. Jason Peters was going to play guard. He had to replace Andre Dillard, who was going to be the starting left tackle. Second or third week in preseason, he went down. So Peters held out because he was like, hey, if you're going to move me over to left tackle, I want to get paid. I don't know the whole situation. Peters is, I know he's gone. I don't know what team he's for, but yeah, the Eagles were just wrecked with offensive line injuries. So, but keep in mind, this also means that they're dealing with guys that were injured, and you just can't take a guy who's like, hey, I missed a whole year with an injury. I'm going to come back and I'm the same guy. That doesn't really happen. Slasher's time living in the past. The future is ahead of us. Good luck and enjoy. Oh, man, I love the trash talk. 2019 season was that long ago. Dan, I have a question. What will make Detroit a good team? I just don't think that there's an influx of enough talent, to be perfectly honest. A lot of people thought that, let's just take Sewell, for example, your starting right tackle. All right, a lot of people thought this was a generational type of player. I did not see that. I saw a guy who might be better suited for guard than tackle. A lot of people that are hardcore Lions fans saying, oh, we got Pro Bowl at right tackle. I'm not seeing that at all. I see a very raw guy who this year won't be a Pro Bowl player. Don't get me wrong. If I'm looking at 2 or 3 years down the line, if he makes a Pro Bowl and he plays like a stud, then yeah, I'm seeing that. Hawkinson is a good tight end. He's not a great tight end. Deandre Swift, the player I was very high on. I wanted to be for my Chiefs. He has to show that he can handle 300 to 350 touches a game. He's your number one offensive player. Goff, I think, is the top 15 quarterback. He'd probably have to prove that he's the top 12 quarterback. And then defensively, a lot of help on defense. I mean, I look at the line. You had a record-setting bad defense, and I really thought that you were going to run the Saints defense when you brought in a coach as your head coach from the Saints and your defensive coordinator from the Saints. I thought you were going to run that Dennis Allen 4-3 system. Instead, you're running a 3-4 complex system, which I thought you're getting away from. The reason why I like the Dennis Allen scheme is that I really thought that both your rookie defensive tackles would be highly effective in that. In the 3-4 scheme that you're running, I think there'll be a little bit of a growing period. I'm not, even though one of your pass rushers got 10.5 sacks, he's playing a new position, needs some help on the back end. talent infusion, and most important, Luke, some time. You're implementing new systems on both sides of the ball. The other three teams are already established with veteran coaches. To answer your question, will make Detroit a good team? Time. This year, I would just say you have a bad team in Detroit this year. This is a team. The over/under's 5. It dropped to 4.5. I think that's kind of where you need to look at. 2022, it's not out of line for Detroit to be a playoff team. It's really not out of line, but it's going to take some time for the system. It's going to take time for the players to develop, and you need some more talent. You just need some more talent. Now that's what I see. And of course, hey, Luke, you can jump. You're welcome to come in any time you want. Lots of love. Lots of people from Detroit are in my channel. So lots of love. I'm pulling for you guys. Just logically looking at the Detroit Lions, this is going to be one of the worst teams in football. That's what I see. It's still in a pitch. Big Chief Sean, what's up, brother? You're acting like it's 5 years ago. Mike giving you a heads up. All right, sorry, guys. You're acting like everything is going to be perfect. People coming off injuries in the QB that even I like less than golf. Is there enough guys to confirm? I'm not. That's another thing. We got you, man. Hey, no, nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's that they lost. It's more about how they lost. And I heard how was terrible. I did not have a chance to watch that at all. So he didn't look good. That is not. You underestimate how much a team can change 2-3 years. Up 14-0. Wow. I've seen less talented teams go and win the Super Bowl. I think the Lions will be a good team, and I think you will be joining it. Dude, I'm on the Lions bandwagon, Luke. I'm going to pull for you guys. But logically speaking, and in terms of sports betting, I'm really actually, to tell you the truth, I'm halfway tempted to put in action. Last time I looked, it was 7.5. You're a 7.5 point dog at home to San Francisco. I'm tempted to put action on that week 1 game. I like Hurts. I think he has a ton of potential. I like Minshew too. Would like him to be the backup, said third man. And think, oh, okay, yeah. No, we got you. We got you, Slasher. And no, I like Hurts also. I do think he has a lot of potential. I just the thing is with Hurts is that I was a little disappointed in preseason. I didn't see him. It's kind of cool. He has a relationship with Devontae Adams when they were in Alabama together. Jalen Reagor needs to go up to speed. Dallas Goedert has to continue to improve. Miles Sanders, if he plays the whole season, he's a stud. There's some good things to like. Hell, Luke, you know what, man? Here, I got you, brother. Come on and chat. Or hold on. Luke, I'll send this to you in Twitter. I'll send this to your Twitter. Luke, guys, we are in for a treat. We're going to get Luke G to come in. Luke always has an invite to come here. And the reason why Luke, if you're wondering why I always give Luke some preferential treatment, it is because he was gracious enough to let me come on his show, not just once, but twice. So yeah, Luke, come on in, man. Let's talk about the Lions, man, because I was kind of harsh on them. Mike's been very harsh on them. Yeah, let's do it. So anyway, the link is in your Twitter, and if you want to, I can send it somewhere else. Alex says, I doubt the Lions win more than 6 games in the division they're in, but I like the position they're in. Keep to the rebuild. Don't falter from it. The thing is, what I gotta like is that they have 2 number ones in 2022, 2 number ones in 2023. And I really think that they're eyeballing, Funk put it in earlier, DJ Smith, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, but the Clemson quarterback is going to be the number 1 pick in the draft in 2023. And the way Goff's contract is set up is that you can't cut him this year. It would be bad if you cut him in 2022, but in 2023 you can just get rid of them, and you don't have that big of a loss. And so it really looks like with all these draft picks is that if you set yourself up in 2023 to go ahead and take a quarterback in 2023, this guy, in my opinion, this guy looks better than anybody who's coming out in 2022. If you said the North Carolina kid looked bad, that's a bad note. I saw some sites where he was number one. I didn't think so. Spencer Rattler, to me, doesn't look like an NFL quarterback. A lot of people are pushing him up. The guy I think is going to take a massive step up, and I've been getting his name wrong. I get his name wrong. The Georgia quarterback, JT Sullivan. I love this kid. I actually think he's going to be the number one pick. I think he's the number one pick. Don't forget, in 2022, the Lions should end up getting 3 comp picks, including a third for Gallaudet. I did forget about that, to be perfectly honest with you, Funk. I did forget about that. And your 2 number ones that you're going to get, it'll be kind of interesting. See, what I think what they're going to do is keep building to this team. I think that there's going to be some really good players. There's a wide receiver in Georgia. I'm hearing it's going to go, I'm going to say top 10. Originally, I was going to say top 5, but there's Thibodeau, unless he gets injured, is going to go top 5. Stingley, top 10, maybe top 5, the corner LSU. And then there's going to be a couple quarterbacks. And there's always a quarterback that just takes a massive step up when it comes to the draft process. But I always get I can't remember if it's JT O'Daniel, the Georgia quarterback. I'm telling you right now, the Georgia quarterback, I have him as number 1. And we're going to get Luke G in the show, man. Yes. Luke, what is up, man?
Dan, we gotta talk, Dan. Dan,
let's do it, man.
Dan gave the Lions a bad team. Now the 4.5, that was the win-loss total.
That is the over/under by Westgate. If you hear Vegas from ESPN, they're talking about the Westgate Casino in Las Vegas. That's the main one that they use. That's the one that I use because I have access to that on the app. It was at 5, and that's what it opened up. It dropped the 4.5, which means that people are betting on the under quite heavily.
Yeah, they're stupid.
All right.
They're stupid.
Let us know why, because I'll be honest with you. I could see over 5. I don't see 9 at all, but man, the floor is yours, man.
I mean, listen, you got to think of it. If it's 4.5 right now and everybody betting the under, it's because most of them are just betting the under because they don't believe in the Lions. They're like still buying into the old dream of the Lions. But just fun fact, if you look at most head coaches who take over teams that were bad teams, they record improved by 2. Every single one of them. All of them did. Go to the Detroit Lions. They went 0-16. They don't get no worse than that. Hell, they record improved by 2. You go to the Rams. The Rams, I believe that year was 4-12, I want to say it was, under Jeff Fisher. They went 11-5. The Lions were 7-9. Under, I want to say that was Jim Schwartz in his final season. The next year they went 11-5 with Jim Caldwell. These teams who get new head coaches after going with a bad record has always increased. There's always a few outliers in there, very few. You know, like Matt Patricia, who takes over a winning record and then lose and goes 6-10. That don't count. I'm only talking about the ones where they had a losing record and then was taken over by a new coaching staff and GM. Those records always increase. That's 1. 2, when looking at any time you're looking at football, you have to ask yourself a question. Why would Vegas be so hell-bent on trying to earn the money and change that stat line like that? And so to me, that tells me that Vegas is looking like, damn, do these people really believe this? Holy smokes, we need to make sure we do some things to try to, make sure we don't lose a lot of money because they're not stupid. They know we're not going to lose all these games. I think it'll go up a little bit higher. I know Mike believes that 9 wins is delusion, and he said if he wrong, he'll apologize. So don't change your name. I'll be expecting that apology. But I think
a regular Mike will definitely be joining the show. So
I see Mike all the time. I just want him to know the Lions is going to be better. I think a lot of things that people are counting out is because they don't know the unknowns. If it wasn't for the unknowns, they would be different. If we started throwing names on the team, like if we got Odell Beckham Jr., they'd be swearing up and down we're winning 6 wins, right? If you just throw one name on there, they'll say, oh, it's 6 wins. But because there's a lot of unknown talent that they don't know about, well, the Lions can't be good. That's not the case. The Lions are doing things the Lions way. They're developing their own way. And with them being a run-heavy team in particular, and being able to have people that people don't know nothing about, it makes it advantage them. I believe one NFL coach and GM said, it's hard to prepare for a team when you don't know much about the people that's on the roster. So
that is true. That is true. There is some unknown factors with Detroit. Usually Vegas frowns on Detroit, but last year people were really high on Detroit late. They took a late bump because it was 6.5, and only Dallas and Detroit skyrocketed up that extra half game.
Because they know people are stupid and emotional. But if you follow the Lions like I did, and saw it was no way in hell you should have took that back. There was nothing that Matt Patricia did last year that should have gave you confidence. Nothing. Like, he wasn't good.
There's the unknown factors, but because it is unknown, it could be bad. I mean, I like Dan Campbell, and it looks like everything he's doing is right, but there could also be that he's just wildly unprepared and may have some real problems this year.
That's a fair assessment, except for there's one thing. Every person on our team has a safety net behind them.
Can you go into detail with the safety net? Because I've heard you say this, but some of the guys in here may not have heard this, and this is an excellent point, and it's something I do like.
All right, so for every coach that we have on our team, including the general manager, there is somebody with experience to back it. So in other words, yeah, Dan Campbell's an interim head coach. That's about it. But then what do? They go out and sign Anthony Lynn, a guy who has been a head coach, to kind of be the backing to him. Sure, you're going to get Aaron Glenn. Aaron Glenn's never been a defensive coordinator. He's always a defensive backs coach. But what do? You add Don Capers to back him. Brad Holmes, never been a general manager. He was a talent evaluator for the scouting department, right? But what do? You go out and get John Dorsey to back him. And so when you start to look at each piece, there's always a safety blanket there to back them. I just happen to think that when you go through and look at the people who are backing them and you see it, let's say Dan Campbell is having a little bit of a rough start. I don't think he would have a problem saying, you know what? Let me defer a little bit to Lynn. Lynn, hey, I got nothing. What you got? Right? Like I don't think that's a conflict there. I know Aaron Glenn knows what he wants to see out of his defense, but he brought Don Capers in for a reason, to make sure that if for some reason he missed something, or maybe something he didn't think of or he didn't see, I have a veteran here who's seen it all, who's been doing this for a long time. And so when you have all these different pieces that are connected, yeah, you got safety nets to it. I think the unknowns can be the unknowns, but I can tell you this much. Our receiving core is not an unknown for me. And TJ Hockenson, he ain't got to be a top 2, top 3 tight end. Hell, I mean, most teams who have a top 2, top 3 tight end don't win no damn way. I just need him to be serviceable. And my tackle in terms of Sewell, I never used the term generational talent, but I'm definitely not panicked because, preseason, he looks like he's raw. I don't care. He should be raw. He moved from left tackle to right, hasn't played in almost 2 years, and is coming into the NFL. If there's no nerves in him at all, what's the point? Those nerves will get shaken and better as he goes on. So now we know that we have that part squared away. The thing that you got to look at is this. In the preseason, the Lions did not go into it worried about winning games. They went into it worried about evaluating talent. And once they did that and identified that talent, they set themselves up to be in a position to where they can win games. And it's going to start with them beating the 49ers week 1.
Well, the over-under is 7.5 the last time I looked, and people are very high on 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing else. I've been saying this for months now. The 49ers, the over-under is 10.5. I'm putting action on the under. So I'm really hoping Detroit can get it going with a week 1 win against the 49ers. So definitely excited about the Detroit Lions week 1. So please come through. They will come through. I think you got to look at all the factors that line up in it. I mean, right now, let's just look at the injury report, right?
We got a few players questionable on our side. They do too. They're supposedly top receiver, IQ, whatever you pronounce his name. He's questionable for that game.
That I didn't know.
He's questionable. Trey Lance is questionable. Bosa is questionable. So you got three of your big people out there. Now they lost their defensive coordinator. That's a huge loss.
I've been saying the same thing. That you lose your defensive coordinator, one of your key assistants, but you're supposed to be 5 games better.
That's what I'm saying. I don't see how you lose him. The linebacker coach, he's fighting some health issues. So you lost the linebacker coach because he's trying to beat cancer. And then you got the pass game coordinator who left to go with the defensive coordinator into the Jets, and RIP to him who passed away due to a car accident. But they lost all these parts. Not to mention they lost that run game. They lost two of in my opinion, two of those pieces.
I forgot about that. They lost 2 of their running backs.
Yeah, and I like
that Trey Sullivan kid, but he was.
I like him.
I like him too, but he was He had issues staying healthy in college.
Facts.
And then you're going to go ahead and have him play 17 games in the NFL.
Facts. Let alone coming into a game where you're expected to do certain things like, oh, I'm expected to be great and all this other stuff. But it's like, look, once you get past, like, okay, let's just be honest. Once you get past Morset ain't finna do much of nothing. Wayne Gillum, he ain't doing nothing. Right? Like he ain't doing Elijah Mitchell. We'll pray for him. But we know that they're coming into it with at least 4 of these running backs on the roster. And Morset's going to be the primary guy. He ain't doing nothing. I guarantee that he ain't gonna do nothing. And now you got a head coach who's on the hot seat. Yeah, I mean, you get the head coach who's on the hot seat who is now being asked to ignore his status and coach the game up. Man, he's finna be in his head. And not to mention, here go the other part. They gotta travel. Now, if this game was in San Francisco, I'd be like, Lions losing. I'm not that kind of guy.
Do you know anybody who's going to be? It's still called Ford Stadium? I'm assuming.
Yeah, Ford Field.
Do you know anybody who's going to the game?
I know quite a few people going to the game.
Oh,
I
really?
and I might be going.
Really?
Yeah, I might be going. I'm trying to figure out. They only got 1 ticket, but I really want my son to experience it. So I don't want to go and not take my son. I want him to experience it. So, but to travel from the West Coast when they are 3 hours behind our time zone, to travel and come play a 1 o'clock game on East Coast time, yeah, that's going to have an effect on you.
This is a big reason why I was talking about the Chargers playing at Washington. It's kind of a hot button on YouTube, so we'll kind of work our way around it. But
you mean the Washington football team?
Well, actually, I say the other thing. Okay, my bad. No, I meant to say about the restrictions. I don't know what it is in Michigan. Are you guys going to be at full capacity?
Yep, we are 100% full. I call it the illness.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. Okay.
But yeah, we are going to be at 100% full capacity, which is another reason why I feel that the 49ers is going to be in for a rude awakening. These people have already started drinking. Okay. We're a whole week away, and they are already getting their drink on in anticipation of this game. It's that crazy.
I might have to put some action on Detroit. Look, you can lose by a whole touchdown, and I would still win if I take 7.5.
Yeah. I mean, and if I were you, I would just put my money there. They're going to win the game, though. The Lions are going to win the game.
All right, we got it now. Luke G can I put you down as a guaranteed win week 1?
Hell yes.
All right,
lock it in. Lock it in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to have all my picks available. I meant to do a little more detail, but I'm going to have a detailed video come out either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. But I'll have all my picks available Friday. I might have to put the Lions at 7. I mean, 7.5 is a big. If you're not familiar with NFL betting, over a touchdown for a home team, if you're a dog at home by over a touchdown, it's extremely, extremely rare.
Right. They're essentially trying to act as if though that the 49ers, because if you ever listen to people who talk about the 49ers, it's always 2 years ago they were in the Super Bowl, and I'm like, yeah, 2 years ago I was a few pounds lighter and 2 years younger. So who in the hell cares? Like, it doesn't, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean much to me. So I can care less. They're not coming in beating us by 7 or more points. That's not happening. Like you said, even if you took the game, they can still not cover that point spread. I just don't see it happening. I think we win the game, and I think we win it convincingly. I just don't think that the 49ers, I think they going to come in slow, dry, exhausted, and just a little off. The only way I can see us taking an L in that game is if we just implode within ourselves, and I don't see that being the case.
Let me ask you this, and this is a popular question, and it's something that I've had concerns about also. Go in, if you can, go in as much detail as you like, but you got people like myself that aren't Lions fans, even though you do got Lions fans here. Talk about your receiving core.
It's straight. You got to understand what they did. He's been clear about what he wants in his receivers. 2 things: get open, catch the damn ball. Real simple. Nothing else, right? So let's look at our receiving core. Start off with Tyrell Williams. People think Tyrell Williams is a washed up lost cause. He's not a washed up lost cause. He was playing really well, and then he got hurt that one season, and then COVID hit, the illness, it hit, and then he turns around, and then he didn't play. But if you look at the Lions receiving core, they have 3 things in common. 1, they all run routes. Every single one of them. 2, they get open and catch the ball. And then 3. And then 3 is the most important one, because that's the key part that I think that many people don't understand when it comes to this receiving core, is they brought in people who are really good at running certain routes that fits within the scheme. So you get people like you trade for a guy in Benson who is a jack of all trades in college. He sit on the practice squad of the Broncos. Broncos like, hey, we like this guy. But then he finally gets on the field and he plays, and he's running certain routes real crisp whenever they call play action. Him, as well as Kadero Hodge. Now you're going to look at people like Quintez Cephas and Amon-Ra St. Brown. They're going to run your short to intermediate routes. And then you still got a guy who can take the top off if you need him to, and Khalif Raymond. Each person that they have there is simply saying, look, they fit within our scheme to do what we want. Well, our problem is we're getting a lot of the bad rap because people don't have enough information to go on. It's about the names. So if they had Golden Tate, Odell Beckham Jr., and Calvin Johnson, everybody be picking them to win this game because of those 3 names. If they had Aaron Rodgers at quarterback with this same roster, the story wouldn't be he don't have receivers. It would be, oh, watch him make them great receivers. So, but because it's the Detroit Lions, oh, their receivers suck. They don't have anybody, and they're not going to do this. But if you look at them, they all run routes real good, really, 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 really well, and they all catch the ball in traffic, and they don't have issues with getting open. This is why they're going to have cause havoc for the other team. If you look at the 49ers, once you get past Kittle, then what?
You got Deebo Samuel, who's solid, but he's going to miss several games the first 2 years of his career. I think he's missed about half the games. I didn't even know about Ayak's injury, but he was injury prone in college, and then he missed, I think, almost half the games his rookie year.
Yep.
And, behind those 2, you really don't have much. I know that they're talking about using 11 personnel, but I don't even know who the other tight end is on San Francisco except for Kittle. I know you got Kittle, and I don't know who the other guy is.
Right, and that's my problem. You take away the run game, you're going to be playing quarterback shuffle with these quarterbacks. I just don't see it. Now, I see Alex said he don't trust the Lions defense or he not sold on it. I can tell you this much. Just go back and don't get caught up in the score. Don't get caught up in what you're seeing. Keep in mind that the score that you saw in the preseason, the things that you see in the preseason are a result of 2s and 3s getting playing time for evaluation purposes. They're not the ones that are going to be on the field. Look at what those other guys did. Look at what Levi Onwuzurike did on the field. He's going to be a starter. Elaine McNeil is going to be a starter. I believe Derek Barnes will be a starter. Jamie Collins is going to be a starter. Trey Flowers. There was a lot of people who were not out there who are going to be a starter come week 1. They strategically did not show anything because they are more concerned with evaluating talent because they know that their system is going to work. And that is a big sign for a good head coach and a coaching staff that feels confident in what they're doing.
Well, let me ask you about this here. It's actually funny that Barnes, One Pride 40s in last week's show told me that Barnes is actually going to be the starter. Out of all the Lions picks, Barnes was the guy I didn't know anything about. And you get a good 4th-round pick. And this is a John Dorsey staple, is that he's really good at getting starters in rounds 3 through 5. So can you give me a little detail about Derek Barnes? He's the one player out of everyone you drafted, I was like, I don't know anything about this guy. I knew about Ozurike. I knew about McNeil. I got our lads pulled up, and I use our lads when looking at the starters. I got Ozurike backing up Brockers. So your defensive line is going to be Brockers, McNeil, and Ozurike.
That's what I believe is going to be 100%. I think Ozurike is going to be your left DN. And I think Brockers will be your other DN, and McNeil will be your nose tackle. And then your linebackers, I think, would be on the outside edge would be Romeo and Trey Flowers. And inside, I think, would be Derek Barnes and Collins. Now, when we drafted Collins, I think I might have cried. When we drafted Barnes, I think I might have cried. I was so excited because
you were aware of this guy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, what brought him to my attention was so I haven't, I watch Big Ten football. Obviously, I'm a Michigan State fan. And so I watch Big Ten football, right? And so I'm looking at this game, and I ain't had nothing to do. It was just on like a Thursday. And I'm like, I ain't got nothing to watch this game. And I saw this dude. I'm like, he got on 55, and he takes his arm, and he lifts this lineman up and just walked him to the quarterback. So I'm like, yo, who in the hell is that? And so I started doing research. I look at the lineman. I see the lineman's height is 6'6", 328. I said, that's a big lineman. He looked big on TV. So I'm like, I know he's big. Who's the guy that did this to him? It was Derek Barnes. And so I said, that was a fluke. He caught him off guard. Fluke. It's not going to happen again. Later in the game, they called a blitz. He comes completely scot-free, finds the perfect gap, scot-free, boom, blows up the quarterback. I said, oh, my God. All of a sudden, I just went into it. Let me just keep an eye on him. That's all I said. And keep an eye on him. I didn't do anything else. So the draft time come around, I started watching every piece of film. I want to see if there's any chinks in the armor, if there's any flaws. And I did walk away saying to myself, he is no different. He is no different than Michael Parsons, except for you can put him at DN. You can put him as an outside rush linebacker, inside linebacker. He has played all of those positions and excelled at it. Literally excelled. He has played rush DN in a 4-3, hand in the dirt, killing bigger guys than him. He's played outside linebacker, inside linebacker. He's got enough coverage skills that you don't want to kill him on it, but it's not like he's the greatest. And his ability to locate the play immediately and get there is almost unhuman-like.
Really?
He's that good.
So you got him starting at inside linebacker with Collins, right?
Yep.
Because I know you signed
Alex Anzalone.
Yeah, I wanted to say his first name a little different, but I knew it was pornographic the way I was saying.
Oh man, you finna go full rated R. Oh man.
Yeah, I was getting bad because I know you brought him over from the Saints, but the thing is that, and this is one of the things it really drove me nuts. And tell me why I'm wrong, and tell everybody else why I'm wrong. When you brought over the players from the coaching staff from the Saints, I really wanted you to run Dennis Allen's 4-3 scheme. Instead, you're going to run a 3-4 scheme. Tell me why this is a good thing and not a bad thing.
Because our team was already pre-set up for the 3-4. One of the things you got to look at is go back over to Mike Tomlin. When Mike Tomlin took over the Steelers, he really wanted to go into a 4-3. But he evaluated the talent on his team and said, you know what? We're better served staying in the 3-4, and if it don't work, I can always go to my 4-3. But he looked at his talent and said, my talent works for a 3-4, so we're going to run a 3-4. Well, Patricia left us in the 3-4 defense. He came in and said, look, I can set us back even further trying to change the defense to a 4-3, and I don't even have 4-3 guys. It's going to take more for that. I might as well roll with my 3-4 and get guys who can be more versatile in that role and play it. So that's why it made more sense to stay in the 3-4. The other part of it that made more sense to stay in the 3-4 was it's going to allow for them to mix things up defensively. because now I can take a guy and have him standing up in the 2-point stands like Trey Flowers, and then decide, you know what, get in the 3-point and throw the whole thing off. And they thinking that, oh, they're in the 4-3 now, and he drops back into coverage. I have options now. And so when you have those options, you want to do that. Now keep in mind, Dan, we ain't got to talk Lions. I watch all football. I just happen to talk about the Lions because the media's disrespect towards the Lions is unnatural. But we can talk all of
them. There's a ton of disrespect. The one thing that really threw me off is I think that McNeill and Ozurike, those to me screamed out to me as 4-3 tackles. And that's what I was really expecting Detroit to run, was a 4-3. And then as during the summer progressed, I was hearing from Funk and One Pride that they're going to go ahead and run the 3-4, and also watch part of your show. And that's kind of where I started learning. And I was like, this doesn't make a lot of sense, because it looked like you were building a 4-3 team. You bring the coaching staff from a 4-3 team. So I didn't like it, but I see where you're coming from. Ozurike as a 3-4 end.
You want to hear some funny? So I'm watching film.
All right.
I'm watching film on Sewell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going against Washington. And who's playing nose tackle? Levi Onwuzurike.
Oh yeah.
And he's doing a really decent job against that guy, right? And then somehow he gets to be on the DN side over Sewell. And I watched him do something to Sewell that I said, see, Sewell has to learn that you're not going to be able to just use your power and strength against everybody. It's not going to work. And so when I saw that he can move around like that, I'm like, he could be a 4-3 guy, but he also is very strong in the 3-4. Because if you watch film, go to that Pittsburgh Steelers game. They tried to move him with a double team. He never lost his position, right? You go to Elaine McNeill. He came out of a 3-4 as a nose tackle. And in his time in that 3-4 as a nose tackle, the first thing I noticed was, here's a guy that is just hard to move to, like to be an anchor. It was very similar to almost like Vincent and Wilford, like a guy that's hard to move but can keep going up the field while you're trying to play with him. And so there's two guys that you get that lines up. Brockers is another guy that can be difficult to move, but he's more so there to be kind of the mover. In other words, I need you to try to get after the quarterback, or when we see things off your edge, say a Trey Flowers or a Core, and you get pressure that way. This team is set up to play to the players that they have strength, versus in the past under Patricia and other bad coaches, they were bringing in players to fit them into what they was versus letting them play at their strength. And after talking with Glover Quinn, former Detroit Lions safety, he made it clear the teams who are winning, pay attention. They are bringing in players and having them do the same things that made them want to draft the players. They got to do the same thing when they get in the NFL if they want them to succeed. And I think that's what you're starting to see with the Lions.
Well, hey man, as you know, we got lots of love for the Detroit Lions here, except for Mike. I own them, and I'll be honest. The over under at 5 that Vegas set for them, I thought was pretty fair. So that's kind of what we got. Alex is heading off here. I'm going to read this comment, and I'm going to wrap this up here. If anybody has final minute questions here, Alex says he's going to head off. The Astros game starting at 9. Hate West Coast games. Love the show. Great conversations. Also, Dan, you got to stop using Coke. It ain't good for you. Not on drugs. It just seems that way. But I also missed some of the college comments here. I actually don't know about this either, Mike. I don't know if Ida is going to affect the LSU game. And I actually did forget.
A lot of those games got moved.
Yeah, a lot of those games did get moved, because I forgot about the LSU UCLA game and the Georgia Clemson game is going to be really good. This is going to be. I'm telling you right now. I think that the quarterback from Georgia, I get his name. I think it's JT O'Daniel, and I keep calling him Sullivan. He's going to be the number 1 pick in 22, and then the Clemson quarterback DJ Smith is going to be the quarterback in 2023. And I think, yeah, that's just without watching any college football. Those are my early picks, and that's going to be it for tonight. Listen, next week I'm going to have all my picks down. I'm going to have, if I don't have a video, I'll reveal all my picks live on the show, and then the video will come out Saturday. No action on the Tampa Bay Dallas game. And I'm going to pass on putting over under bets on both Tampa Bay and Dallas, even though the under 9.5 for Dallas is really looking good. And I'm
I wouldn't bet on that game neither. Even though I think that the Bucs are probably going to win, I think it is one of them games that could go the other way.
Well, I was actually going to put action on the game. It was at 6.5, and it's jumped up to 8. And I'm not touching 8. It's just 8's too big of a number. But I do think Tampa Bay will win by double digits. It's just I'm not putting action on 8. And then the Dallas over-under win total. The over-under win total for Dallas is 9.5. I think they're going to be a below-average team again. That's just my opinion. And Tampa in the NFC does scare me, but they got an older team. But anyway, I'm going to have all my bets revealed on next week's show if I don't have the video out by Thursday. And that's going to do it. By the way, on the way out, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the Luke G Field Review if you haven't done it already. And I'll see everybody next week.
You know what we got to do, Dan, before you close it out real quick.
Oh, no, what's up, man?
Don't close it out yet.
No,
to the people in the chat, if you are in here and you love what this man do, because I do. That's why I come in, I listen, and I'm rocking with him. If you love what this man do, and you ain't told your friend to tell their friend to tell their friends' friends to come put some love on his name, put some respect on his name. Come put a simple check of subscribe on his name and make yourself some money. Shame on you. If you live in Michigan and you're not on here, I don't know what's wrong with you, because we can bet here in Michigan. So you can do it at the drop of a dime. But if you want content where you're going to, 1, make money, 2, get great content, and 3, if at all nothing else, wonder if he's doing coke or not, you should make sure you subscribe and tell a friend to come show some love, man. 100%.
Oh, man, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Luke's show. And I'll see everybody back next weekend.